What's up? Tyler, Keith, Sam. Plugged on here. We're going to talk about our top 10 movies of 2019 that we saw. And I think 2019 is a pretty good year for movies. There's a lot of good ones.
Some good stuff came out this year.
Yeah. We just have individual lists that we will be running down. So, why don't we get started? What you got?
I have...
We didn't see everything.
I have
just
9.
Want to throw that out there.
Top 10. I just had 9.
Okay. But these are our favorites that we saw.
I guess you start 10.
Yeah, I'll start number 10. Number 10, I have Toy Story 4. I really like Toy Story 4 a lot. And I think there's just a lot of really great character moments, and it's just overall a really, really fun ride. Toy Story 4 is kind of a sequel that I don't think anyone really needed or wanted after 3, because 3 ended so perfectly. But I do think with the way that 4 ends, it ends in a really great way. It's where I was like, okay, I'm glad that they made a 4th Toy Story movie. So, and those characters are just so great. So, really enjoy Toy Story 4. What you got?
Number 10, I've got Godzilla, King of the Monsters. This movie is not good. It's not good, but it's fun. And I think that's what really is the good part, because you just want to see giant monsters crashing into one another and destroying buildings, and you get plenty of that in this movie. I don't know if that happens. It doesn't happen.
Oh, okay.
But I think like the monsters and like the battles with monsters is much better than in the first one, in the 2014 Godzilla. The human characters are a bit more interesting than in that movie. And again, just a lot more fun. Like this movie would not be on here if it wasn't nearly as fun as it is. So that's my number 10. Number 9, I have Frozen 2. Frozen 2 is a weird sequel because it both tries to go in new directions, but then it also tries to cater to the people who really like the first one. And it kind of makes the movie seem imbalanced in a lot of ways. Like, when when Frozen 2 is trying to copy the first movie, it kind of sucks. But then when it's doing new things, I'm like, all right, this is some good stuff. And there's a song about depression, and it's like some dark stuff that goes on in there, and it's like, and then it's just like, yeah, let's do. Olaf has to have a song, so let's give him a song. It's about absolutely nothing in the movie. And I'm like, so, but. Maybe
I know exactly which one.
Yep, exactly. This movie is gorgeous, though. Maybe the single best piece of like Disney animation they've ever put out, especially their 3D stuff.
So your role.
So my role.
Coco is a thing.
Coco is a thing. You know what? You're right. Coco is a thing. Yeah. So I'll take. It's the second best one. It's the best Disney one. That's Pixar. It's the best
Toy
Disney
Story
one.
1.
But yeah, it's my number 9. It's Frozen 2.
My number 9 is a movie called The Lighthouse.
Oh, I wanted to see that. I didn't get around to seeing it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's from Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Batman and the Green Goblin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. This movie, and it's directed by Robert Eggers, who did The Witch. The Witch.
He's doing a Nosferatu movie.
Is he?
Except from what I heard, yeah.
Okay, cool. It's to the point because seeing The Witch was really interesting. Seeing this movie is really interesting. I'll probably watch just about anything this guy does because his movies are just so fascinating. And it's one of those movies that just every little thing is purposeful. And with The Lighthouse and with The Witch, did a really good job of making it feel, like I assume, that time period felt, with the dialogue and the things that they were doing. And there's some things in here that happen that you're just like, oh my God, it's just awful. Some of the things that these people had to do to maintain these lighthouses. And there's obviously a lot more to it. The story's a lot deeper than that. And it's one of those movies that makes you think a lot. And then also just the way it's shot. It's shot in black and white. It has a 4:3 look to it, to have more of a feeling of like claustrophobia, which is pretty important to the movie when you kind of look at it after the fact. And then just the William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson do such an incredible fucking job in this movie. I mean, it just has to be one of the hardest movies to probably film, and then just at the same time, it just looks like they had so much fun. There's several times in this movie where William Dafoe's character just fucking bust ass, and it's just out of nowhere, and it's just the funniest fucking thing in the world. It's just I love this movie. It's really weird, but it's fantastic.
I just put all 9 movies that I saw.
Okay.
I'm going to talk a little crap on the first couple. Number 9 for me is Glass. The movie where not a lot happens.
No.
Not a lot of things get resolved. Bruce Willis is there.
Yes, that's a succinct.
Yeah.
James McAvoy is a pretty solid performance.
Yeah.
James McAvoy's a great actor. It's just that they should have just done a split sequel.
Yeah.
Try to do this.
Yeah, split that movie into 2 movies.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah,
Samuel Jackson was in this.
Yeah.
They fought on the lawn for like 5 seconds.
It looks kind of
I don't
dumb.
know.
The whole thing
People
looks
got
kind
shot.
of
And then, yeah, in the M Night
Bruce Willis
Shyamalan
got wet.
twist. Yeah. Yeah. And the M Night Shyamalan twist in this movie, I was, I don't know.
It seems kind of forced. It's not even like a fun twist.
Yeah. All right, what's number 8?
Number 8 is Alita Battle Angel, which is a very fine graphic novel, but as a movie, it should have been movieified a little bit more. Where it looked great, it looked fantastic, great looking movie, but as a movie compared to like a book, something you're reading, it doesn't really come across the best in terms of a movie, because there are certain things that I think are a bit drawn out, or they feel resolved, and you're kind of taught when watching movies to feel like certain things, when certain things happen, it's resolved, it's done, but then it's almost like, okay, no, this is going to come back. It's not traditional as a movie, which I liked, but at the same time left me with like a weird feeling. So it was different, and I part of me liked that, but then part of me was thinking it's not the most refined thing. There were things that I think if they could be changed, it'd be a fantastic movie, like traditional movie, but as it is, it was fine.
Yeah. My number 8 is Spider-Man Far From Home. Like this movie a lot, and it does some pretty cool stuff. Jake Gyllenhaal as the villain was really well done, and kind of different. And I liked what was going on most of the time in this movie, and especially just the ending. The ending is really good. I'm talking the post-credits scene.
Yeah.
Kind of setting up a third movie is kind of a very shocking thing that I like a lot, and Tom Holland as Spider-Man to me is just incredible, and I love the whole cast of characters that they have put together for these past 2 Spider-Man movies, because they're so much fun to be with. So I kind of go back and forth whether I like this more than Homecoming, but I think I might like Homecoming a little bit more than this one.
That's fair.
So, but it's still a very well done Spider-Man movie.
My number 8, I have Toy Story 4. Much like Tyler said, this was like the sequel that it didn't need to happen. But I think it sort of changed what the Toy Story series is about. Because in a lot of ways, if you look at the first 3 movies, Toy Story is about almost in the background, it's about Andy. You know what I mean? And like him growing up, and with and then the toys are just kind of there as a part of it. Whereas this one kind of made it specifically about Woody. And some like retcon stuff happening in there, and I don't know. It's a good movie, and again, it looks good. And the only thing is that like it takes such a focus on Forky and Woody. Like a lot of the other characters, I mean, it's very much the problem with this movie. And it sort of happens a little bit with like 3. a little bit is that a lot of the other characters become like afterthoughts. Like, I mean, they just kind of didn't know what to do with Buzz the whole movie, so he's just kind of like just stumbling along through plot of what he's supposed to do, and it's like, and then all the other characters are complete non-factors in the story. I mean, they're not even involved at all, like the old characters. But I mean, it's still fun, and I did like the ending. I think the ending was really nice with, you know. And then also with like how the villain, I don't know how the villain toy, whatever you want to call her, like her ending was also good. It's like it's a little bit different from how like a lot of movies would go, but I liked it. It worked. Number 7, I also have Oleta Battle Angel, and it's kind of, I wanted to really like this movie because like when they started showing trailers for this movie in like 2017, I think was when like the first trailer dropped for this movie. I was super excited. I'm like, dude, this movie looks awesome. It should be fun. I think the problem is sort of maybe this is kind of what you were going for, Sam. It's like very episodic over the course of the movie. It's not like this happens and it's its own thing, and then this happens and it's its own thing. It's like chapters of a manga is a good thing. And the thing that I think kind of aggravates me the most is that there's like the last 10-15 minutes seems so tacked on of the movie. Like it's stuff that would have been really good if they were going to do a sequel with the one dude and, you know, him and his fate and whatnot. It's just like, I don't know, stuff like it. Visually, it's a great movie, and I like I think the use of combining live action CG with trying to get the Alita's, you know, face and getting her eyes big like in the manga is great. But yeah, it's just. I come away, because I watched the second time, because I think I watched it the second time with you. I think I came away with being a little bit like just more disappointed the second time around, because it also has Mahershala Ali in it, but then they kind of squander him, which is a shame, and like yeah.
I like that movie. I don't think I would ever watch that movie if we didn't see it in theaters, because it's best to see that movie up on a big screen. So
yeah.
My number 7 is Knives Out.
Nice.
This movie is just a really fun whodunit sort of movie, and the cast is absolutely incredible for this movie, and it kind of like you kind of figure out what happens in a way, like really early on in the movie, but then there's still a couple twists and turns that get you to the end that you kind of didn't see coming, and the way it gets there is really fun, and the setting's really cool because it's mostly just in this house. And overall, I mean, it's just fantastic. Daniel Craig's accent that he does in the movie is just so much fun. So much fun. I just... This is probably one of the most fun movies I think I've seen in a long time. I suspect foul play. I have eliminated no suspects.
So is that his accent?
That's kind of how he sounds.
Great. What's that other movie that he was in where he had to put on an accent like that?
James Bond.
No, it was the one with Adam Driver.
James Bond 2. James Bond 3.
It's not No, what was it? Get Lucky? No, it's the racing movie.
Fast and Furious.
No. Oh,
the racing
Boss
movie.
Baby.
I'll look it up. Go. I'll see if I can come up with it. Or something like that.
What is this? Number 7?
Yeah.
Number 7 for me is Frozen 2. I agree with a lot of what Keith said. I felt like the movie was... It was good in some parts, but then the movie as a whole was a bit rushed and kept a bit... Don't think too much about it, which is... Typically Disney movies, I feel like, dive into subjects a little bit more. Where with this, I feel like it was okay, on to the next thing. It was a little bit more of a short attention span of a movie. And it kind of like, okay, to the next thing or to the next thing. I mean, some things that were themes throughout the movie, but I just feel like compared to other Disney movies, like the big ones, the great ones, like Finding Nemo really gets into like a subject or gets into characters and it's like really sticks with them. Where this movie, I felt like it was a little bit, more geared toward kids. And it's one of the few Disney, like Pixar movies that I've seen that I would say, like, as an adult, I didn't really, like, Like, I love Disney movies. I love Pixar movies. But this one, like, even if you're taking your kids to see it, it's still kind of like, You're kind of like, that's a little bullshit. But, some of the songs were really good. I mean, the areas where like Disney really knocked shit out of the park, they knocked shit out of the park. But just like more as a movie, there were some nitpicky things I guess I had with it. But you know, if I was like 7 and I went to see it, I'd fucking love it. But I'm not 7.
It's fair.
Regardless of what people say. Number 6, I had Captain Marvel, which I think something about this movie, I really liked it when it came out. And there's still something that I really, really enjoy about it. I think just over time, the more time I've had to sit on it, it's not like I dislike it, but it's sort of just settled into like, yeah, it's another movie. Not quite another movie, like on the level of like fucking Iron Man 3 or something, or Iron Man 2 or Thor 2, or like where it's like, but it's just kind of like it's there. I had to kind of watch it again just to remember some things about it a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I think it's a solid movie. I do kind of like the going back in time bit of it, like older, like not everything has to be set in like Iron Man, like with, you know, his gadgets, and Thor like in mystical world, but just like it's more of a movie. I feel like it's about like more normal people, or like refugees and like problems like that, where it's like, I don't know, some issues like that I think are pretty cool. It's not as fantasy in ways. I mean, it is, but you know.
Yeah, this movie, I do like it still. It's just, I actually kind of kept forgetting it came out this year.
It just kind of settles in, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad though. My number 6 is Midsummer. From God damn,
I did see that one.
Movie I wanted to see.
I forgot to put it out on my list. I did see that one.
I need to look. Who's the fucking director? I'm totally having a brain fart. But it's a director from Hereditary, and I'll have this 2 seconds. Ari Aster, that's right. This movie is so fascinating, and
it's like a reverse horror movie in a lot of ways.
In a way, yeah, and I just absolutely love the setting and in the kind of history that kind of gets thrown into this movie with midsummer European traditions and all that. It's just very interesting, and just Ari Aster is amazing between Hereditary and this movie with soundtracks and just sounds in general. And this movie has plenty of them. This movie has plenty of scenes that'll make you just go, what in the fuck am I watching, sort of thing. There's one in particular that really comes to mind to me that I just don't want to spoil anything, but I was like, wow, that's something that just got filmed. But in overall, I just think this movie's just a truly captivating movie to watch from start to finish with great performances. So Ari Aster's another one then that I think I'll watch just about anything he does, because when he does horror films, but it's kind of different. It's really he's not trying to go for like gore or anything like that, or just scares for the sake of having scares. You know, he's really telling interesting stories. So yeah, it's my number 6.
My number 6, I also have Captain Marvel. I like that. It's sort of the same thing. It's a movie that I haven't gone back to watch from the first time, but I remember enjoying it, and I think it's of the origin stories for a lot of like the heroes in the MCU. I think it's one of the better ones. I think it does a lot of just its place and like timeline does a lot of interesting things, like explaining, where the Avengers sort of came from, and where. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, but why Nick Fury wears an eye patch and things like that, and it's another movie where I think it shouldn't be a surprising one. Disney, like Marvel, they're kind of nailing the sprinkling the humor throughout their movies. I think they do a really good job. I think Brie Larson gets a lot of flack unnecessarily for this movie. I think it's just the character of being sort of a stoic character, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hark on too much about what Sam said. I agree with a lot of what he said. My number 5, I have Us. It came out this year by Jordan Peele. Not as good as Get Out, but I still really enjoyed the journey that movie took us on with the tethered and kind of exploring these ideas of the of what it means to be human and things like that, and sort of and all kinds of other stuff. It's I especially kind of, even though I saw it coming for a little while, I like the twist ending for that movie, and I think it's a very interesting premise that can definitely that if it was like it were true, it would definitely be very frightening. Also, so in some parts, some of the funnier moments of the movie, Jordan Peele's things with comedy. I mean, when they start playing NWA,
Yeah.
Which is a great moment. It's got a great cast. I mean, it's got Tim Heidecker and I forget his name. Winston Duke and
Sure.
and then the Lupita.
Yeah.
I forget her last name, but
Elizabeth Moss too.
Elizabeth Moss in the movie. Yeah, so it's just I just think it's a good Jordan Peele. Similar kind of thing. I'll watch anything Jordan Peele does because he has an interesting perspective on horror.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that movie kind of wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I liked it.
Yeah,
for sure. My number 5 is El Camino, Breaking Bad movie.
right.
Came out on Netflix, but I just think this movie is really well done for what it is. Knowing that there was a Breaking Bad movie that is going to be post Breaking Bad, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want that, just because Breaking Bad ended really well. So the fact that they made that and Vince Gilligan was involved, did a really great job, and Aaron Paul was fantastic in this movie. And I think what this movie does is it's a fantastic epilogue to the story of Breaking Bad and that universe, and kind of brings a lot more meaning to a lot of different things from the show. It doesn't really change or alter anything for the worse, which is also very good. It just kind of enhances it. So I loved every second of it. It's just such a well done movie.
I gotta watch it. I gotta finish. I got one more season of Breaking Bad to watch, and then I gotta watch that then.
Yeah, it's great.
Number 5, I had Spider-Man: Far From Home. I agree. I think I like Homecoming more. There are definitely more parts of Homecoming that I like more. Far From Home, I don't know I don't know exactly what it is about Homecoming that I liked more. I just feel like it was more comfortable seeing Peter in that setting and a lot of the events that were happening. It's just more, it feels better. It feels like, I don't know, more nostalgic, him in high school rather than him in like Europe. But
I also really like Michael Keaton a lot more.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
for that movie than Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I mean, Mysterio's an awesome character, but Michael Keaton fucking was so good.
Yeah,
in that movie.
Yeah, I
So.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, Far From Home had some really good moments, some funny parts. But yeah, I do agree with a lot of what you said. I won't go into too long about it, but yeah, I felt like this, compared to Homecoming, incorporated like a lot of the same elements of like growing up and romance and things like that. I think it did a great job of that. It was a good, like, in ways I feel like it was just as good of a Peter Parker movie as it was a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 5. My number 4 is It Chapter 2. Still haven't seen the first one. I know what happens. I read the book. I seen like the old It, but It Chapter 2. I'm blanking on his name. Bill Hader is fucking hilarious.
Amazing.
He's so fucking
Really,
hilarious.
really good in that movie.
He destroyed in that movie. Pennywise is really creepy, especially in that like mirror like maze thing they were going through, and he's on the kid's on the other side of the glass, and he starts like banging his head against the fucking thing. So many good parts in that movie. The end where they defeat
where the end happens.
Yeah. I mean, they defeat Pennywise. Not that that's spoiling anything, but Yeah, I just think it was a really solid movie throughout. It, like, having not even... It makes me want to go back and watch the first chapter. But, yeah, I just thought there were so many good parts in that movie that, yeah, it just really blew me away. I was really surprised going into it.
Yeah, I think Chapter 2 was probably, like, would probably be one of my honorable mentions. I think one of the cool things about the movie, which is maybe the only downside, is that the big plus of the first part was it's just how talented the young cast is.
Yeah.
In which they're in the second one a lot less. But one of the things that I love about it is that I think basically, if I'm not mistaken, just about all that they let, like, a lot of the child actors, like, either have a say in who was cast to play them, in which then it's funny that Finn Wolfhard was like, he was Bill Hader.
Yeah.
They just make it Bill Hader. I'm like, that's a perfect casting. So it's a good movie. I think that movie gets a lot more flack than it deserves.
Yeah, I agree. Going into it too, I was like, oh my god, 3 hours for an 8 movie. I don't know if I can do this. But
Yeah.
I think they make good use of the time.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. My number 4 is Booksmart. I just actually saw this the other day, but it's a comedy movie, and it's kind of, it's one of those comedy kind of high school movies. There's partying, there's shit happening. Basically, it's these two bookworm friends. Basically, like, they're really good in school, and everybody's going to college. They're graduating the next day, and they kind of hit them that we didn't really have any fucking fun in high school, and so they want to go party, and then just some stuff happens. But I felt like this movie's a lot more grounded than a lot of those sort of high school movies are that are just really kind of unrealistic. There's a couple things in here I was like, that probably doesn't really ever happen. But for the most part, it was really well done, really charming to watch, really actually hilarious. And it's kind of a movie about kind of finding yourself a little bit as well, and kind of closing one chapter of your life and starting another one. It's really, really well done. I like it a lot. It's, I forget her name. I'll have to look it up. Olivia something is the director. She's always, Olivia Wilde. Yeah. Yeah. She did a good job too. She's always in those Coke commercials.
For Regal.
Hi, it's Olivia Wilde. Blah, blah, blah,
Partner with Regal to bring all that
yeah.
stuff.
But I like this movie a lot. It's, for what it is, it's probably one of my favorite one of those sort of movies. So
Number 4, I have Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. I think it's sort of in a similar vein to Last Jedi, where this movie's great, and where it's low, it's maybe not as low as Last Jedi, but it does have its lows. I think it's a great send-off to the entire saga. Not as much for the trilogy as much. I kind of think it puts a lot of that stuff on the back burner to kind of sum up the saga. But I mean, some of the action sequences are great. I think some of the character beats are really well done, especially with Rey and Kylo. There's a couple surprises thrown in there, like surprise appearances that I think really help make or break the movie. And yeah, it's just, I think more so it's fun. And I think that's the one thing that J.J. Abrams as a director is able to capture. He's able to capture the spectacle so much. And the fact that this is, the end of the Skywalker saga. It's boom, that's a big spectacle. And it's like his forte. I heard like a thing that apparently very early in the process they were going to make this like 2 movies. And I'm like, you should have done it. Because there's a lot. There's a lot of movie in this movie.
Yeah,
but
it really is.
But I think
I wish they either would have made it 2 movies or pulled an Endgame and said, "Fuck it, it's 3 hours long."
Yeah, they could have. People would have been fine with that.
Yeah, because that's my one big complaint about the movie. If I have to say what that is, and that's just it moves way too fast. Like you have no time to breathe.
Yeah,
and kind of take in anything because you're constantly moving on. But it is well done.
I agree. Dominic Monaghan said who doesn't have much of a role in the movie at all. He says he hopes that a director's cut is released, which I agree. That because there's so much that they had filmed for this movie, but then they had to cut so much because already so much happens. Like just put out a director's cut that's like add an extra like half an hour to the movie or something. Boom, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Number 3, I have Spider-Man: Far From Home. I agree with a lot of stuff that you guys said. Spider-Man: Homecoming is probably the better Spider-Man movie. I think this movie does a really good job of dealing with what it served up, which is being the movie that follows Endgame.
Yeah.
Which kind of is why the movie's a little less personal in some ways. Like Homecoming's a very personal movie. It's very boom, down to earth, whereas it's very localized and focused on like Peter and what he's going on. Whereas this movie's much bigger. And I know there's a lot of complaints with the movie, like it's another thing of Spider-Man fixing Iron Man's problems. But I think that almost makes sense just for the in the case of the MCU, just because Tony Stark's the biggest person in the whole world, so it makes sense that this would kind of happen. And I think it's an excellent continuation from Homecoming, and like Tyler said, it's good. It sets up a future movie, which I hope they make sooner rather than later. So.
Well, 2021.
Right, they do have... I forgot they have a release date for it.
There is 4 Marvel movies coming out next year, plus 4 or 5 Disney Plus series. It's going to be a crazy 2021 for Marvel.
And in 20, they moved up with WandaVision in 2020, so
Yeah,
it's good. Everything's going nuts.
Yeah, I think really starting with Black Widow in May, it's going to be like, holy shit.
Be all the Marvel.
Yeah, because I read that their intent with the Disney Plus stuff and why there's so much coming out in 2021 is they kind of want it to be kind of like a comic book, like a weekly sort of thing.
Okay.
A different thing every, like you have your series.
Oh wow, man! I guess if they have enough stuff,
to where it's just like kind of always something.
There's always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess at the end of 2021, it'll be interesting to see how we feel about that. Of like, is that too much?
It could be
because it very well could be.
He who dares wins. Though,
yeah.
So
and they want the movies to be the big event sort of things, and then the Disney Plus be the smaller things.
Yeah.
It could work out, but we'll see. My number 3 is John Wick 3 Parabellum.
I need to see that. I
Fucking loved everything about this movie. It's an American-ass action film in that there is a lot of guns, a lot of killing, but it's very inventive in how that happens, and the way they build out the world of John Wick and the Continental and all this stuff is just so awesome to see. And Keanu Reeves this is like the perfect role for him. Because he doesn't really have to say anything, and it's just awesome.
Is that a knock on Keanu Reeves' acting ability?
No, yeah. No, I think he's a good actor, but he's just really good in this sort of role where he doesn't have to really say that much, and he does more with his actions and his facial expressions and all that. So, but yeah, I had a goddamn good time watching this movie, and it's definitely the best John Wick movie, and there's some of my favorite action scenes ever in this movie. So a lot of brutal shit. Guy is great at getting headshots.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to play Call of Duty with him.
He's got an aimbot. He's got to have an aimbot. Is what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
My number 3, we're gonna talk about more, so I'm just gonna say it's Avengers Endgame. We'll talk about it because I'm sure at least one of you guys have it about me. And then my number 2 is Us.
Ooh,
the more I thought about this movie, the more I really, really like it. I remember Jordan Peele coming out, I think it was like after the movie was released, and he was talking about how the main theme of the movie is is American privilege, and you getting what you want at the expense of someone else's joy. And you really see that theme throughout the movie. Yeah, there are so many things in this movie that really make you think. And there was one thing he said about it I thought was really funny. He was like, everything in this movie was deliberate. Unless you didn't like it, then it's completely accidental. But yeah, there's so many. There's. It's one of those movies where I don't want to sound like a dick for saying it, but it's like a smart people movie where you watch it.
Very much is, yeah.
And you see, it's more about the symbolism of things, not just necessarily, oh, this happened and it's this. I mean, I think I talked to a lot of people I work with that saw the movie and oh, I thought this was stupid. I thought that was stupid. I didn't understand it. I'm like, there's symbolism behind it. There's meaning behind it. It's not just oh, this thing happens and it happens. There's a deeper meaning behind a lot of things in this movie. Kind of a lot like Get Out. But yeah, the more I think about it, I've seen this movie a couple times this year, and I really, really like it. Every time I watch it, it's one of those movies where it's I didn't notice this last time, or like I'd see it this time and it makes more sense, or it starts like you have your own ideas, not just what the movie you think would work in the movie. But yeah, it's a movie that really makes you think, is really fucking creepy sometimes. I was really happy about going into the movie and being completely surprised. Like the movie took this turn, like even like an hour in, where I was like, this is the movie I thought I was going to see, and I really liked that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of movies, it's like, yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah. But I was like, I was surprised. I loved it. I loved it.
Cool. My number 2 is Avengers Endgame.
We might have the same number 1.
Then I think that I'm going to assume that our 1 and 2s are reversed.
Probably.
So we'll figure. So
yeah.
do we? How about this? Do we just want to eat everybody? So I'll go out and say this. My number 2 is Joker, and then my number 1 is Avengers Endgame, and I'm assuming.
Number 1 is Joker.
Okay,
yeah.
so let's. Which one do you want to talk about first? Might as well just get them both out of the way.
Yeah, let's just talk about Avengers first. Avengers is like the perfect way to end a series, and it's just. They did just everything that they needed to do, and I think it is just such a major accomplishment to have 21 films before this one, and to bring them all together and stick the landing is just fucking crazy. And just some of my favorite moments ever in cinema, and I know it's, you know, this isn't like a fucking, you know, Martin Scorsese had a lot to say about Marvel movies and stuff. I get that, but just the emotion of watching this movie and being in that theater when we saw it at the time, and everyone just screaming, like, I'll just never forget that experience. And even just watching some of the moments now, you know, when they all kind of come together at the end, just makes me want to cry.
It's great. I think
cry like a bitch because it's so good.
In all honesty, this movie wouldn't have come out this year. I probably would have liked Rise of Skywalker probably a lot more.
Oh yeah.
It's just this movie set the bar high. It's just, I don't think we're never going to see anything like this ever in cinema. I don't think any.
I don't even think Marvel can repeat.
And I think they understand it. That's why they're kind of doing something different now. They're like,
and I think they have to be smart because people are going to constantly compare however the next phase or 2 ends to this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So.
But
I mean, I think not even that. Again, to compare it to Rise of Skywalker a little bit more, this movie is so fan servicey, but it does it in such a smart way.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie understands how superheroes movies work. You know, you get, because, you know, stuff from the first Avengers, from Guardians, even from Thor: The Dark World, which is considered by many people to be one of the worst, but then they kind of make it relevant, which is nice. And there's just so many, like, awesome moments. And it's like boom, and it's so many of the things that they do that are so awesome. It's just a quick thing, and you can appreciate it. Like, not really that big of a moment, but like just one thing that's like a reference and kind of callback is when like Wasp is, you know, we got a Cap, and it's like a reference to Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I'm like, that's cool, and stuff like that. Or the references to the comics and Winter Soldier during the one scene. I'm like, yeah.
I think the most special thing about this movie is that other movies try to do, and you see it with like the Justice League, which I actually end up watching that, and it's awful.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
But movies like the Justice League think like, okay, we have a couple movies, like we established Wonder Woman, we established like Superman's had a movie, like there's Batman, well, Superman gets 2 movies, but to actually have a movie where it's not like you have to say like, yeah, remember when this happened, like that actually you see the backstory of everything, like the entire lead up of all the characters, so it's not like written in dialogue to reference things and say like, oh yeah, remember when we did this thing. Like, you've seen everything they've done and you know the characters that they are up until that point, so it's not like, oh yeah, I would like to see that happen. Like, you've seen it all happen.
It doesn't hold your hand.
Yeah, so you like, I just think it's cool how it's like this is a movie, there is everything else is there, and it all came together, but it's just the fact that it's like, okay, you've seen all these characters through everything, so it makes what happens and the things that they experience like all that more special. Like when like you said, when like certain moments happen, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's like it matters because I've seen Captain America since I've seen him for like fucking almost 10 years now in different movies here and there. And like Iron Man, I've seen him since 2007.
2008.
Yeah, like I've seen him for like fucking over 10 years now. Like when things finally happen, it's like, okay, well he's earned this. He's done he's their stories, they work towards something and they really earn it rather than just like building up a character and then capping them off in 2 or 3 hours. Like it's been so many years in the making. Yeah. I think that was like the special thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the movie's fucking beautiful too.
Yeah.
There's and the humor is just so well done. But then there's also just those moments of like very serious.
Yeah.
And you feel that and everything just is so smart with this movie.
Yep.
It's awesome. I love it. So yeah, Joker. That's what we have at number 1.
Yeah.
You have at number 2.
Yeah.
Joker is just such an incredible movie, and it's how it deals with like New York at that period of time, and deals with
It's Gotham, but yeah,
or Gotham, yeah,
more or
whatever.
less, yeah.
Yeah,
but
you know what I mean.
It's standard,
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah. But how it deals with, like a character and kind of mental health and things like that is just, it's really fascinating to watch, and you're always kind of on edge of like what might happen because you know where it goes, and where it does go you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And Joaquin Phoenix is just so fucking perfect for this role. And going back to like Toy Story a little bit, total difference.
Ooh, here we go.
Of like, when they announced we're doing a Joker origin movie, everybody was like, fuck that. We don't need that. One of the best things about the Joker is you don't know. There is no true, like, this is what happened, and this is why this dude is the Joker. And I think they handled it with such care, and it's so well done from start to finish. And it's shot really well, edited really well. It's just a great ride. So
Yeah, they do kind of leave it open, like, because it says he's like adopted, so you don't really know what his real name ever was. You don't really know where he came from.
Yeah,
but it's like, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I would put it in my top 10 like all time list.
it's really good.
Maybe like the more, if I really think about it, could even be top 5. Like the score of this movie fucking drives it the whole way, and constantly makes you feel so uneasy about everything. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing. All the weight that he lost for the movie. Just the way, I know like people say acting, it's usually like how people say things, but just the way he moves his body, and even like the first time, like the shit that happens on the subway, with those 3 people afterwards, he just like runs. Even his run, like just how frantically he runs in the movie, like everything, his body language, fucking everything's amazing. And he goes into the bathroom and he just sort of does that like dance. It's fucking everything about this movie. I wouldn't change a single thing. And there are even parts in the movie that are just fucking hilarious, like when he's at work and someone like says a joke, and he starts like laughing, then he walks around the corner and just like blank face, like stops laughing. Or the whole thing with like those 2 guys that he worked with in his apartment, where it goes from crazy. A scene where it's so fucking like out of nowhere, bloody and gory, and just like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened, to like me laughing my ass off. And it's all the way up to like, there's so many parts in the movie where it's like, yeah, there are like parts in Endgame where you're like, fuck yeah, I waited for this to happen. But like when he's going down the elevator and he's like full Joker, like green hair and everything, and it's like, it's just such a cool moment. Again, like the score is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone else in this movie is amazing too. Just the tone that just
even like the not to totally spoil it, but like the end when he's on that TV set.
Yeah.
And he's like, you
yeah.
get what you fucking deserve.
That's
it's like, oh
yeah.
my god.
It's one of my
like, the way
favorite
that
parts
unfolds.
in any movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, also like all the seriousness, how it just shows you what can happen like with someone with a mental health issue like that.
That's just run down by society.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I love everything about this movie. It's beyond reproach.
Yeah, I think this movie is. I think this movie is damn near perfect too. I agree with everything everybody here said with the acting and things like that. I mean, the Joker is such a hard character to nail because there's so many iconic versions of the Joker that already exist. Like, you know, whether or not it's Mark Hamill doing in the animated series, it's Heath Ledger doing the sort of like the anarchist style thing. Whether or not it's Jack Nicholson doing sort of like this mob boss sort of thing. It's kind of hard. Joaquin Phoenix kind of came and put his own stamp on it. This eccentric, damaged, broken individual. You know, and they get all the themes about against society and mental health and being who you are and whatnot is really really cool in this movie, and how open ended the movie is, because you just question how much of the movie actually is like what actually happens, because then they did that so cleverly throughout the movie, and some of the most clever things I've seen
that he's like imagining.
Yeah, it's like some of the most clever things I've seen in movie writing, because you just start to the first time it happens, he's just daydreaming. It's like, wow, half the shit I've seen in this movie is a lie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's like you just question everything from here on out. I think the only thing, which is maybe the only criticism I have, is that with this movie is that it is very derivative of its influences. Like looking at it, because I've seen both these movies, it is a lot of this movie is ripped right from, almost to the point of like parody of like Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, like very much so. That's like the only thing, is that like you can kind of mash together those two movies and then add the Joker, and then it's like that's like the only criticism I have, is that maybe which who knows, they do a sequel, they're going to kind of have to branch out, which there might be talks.
They're pitching a sequel. I think nothing like certain, but apparently they're talking about a sequel now, because it made a fuck ton of money.
Of course,
it made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Still but I mean, even a lot of the supporting roles great, and like just different takes on the origins, in which even though they say the movie isn't connected to the DCU, it's kind of cool to think like
it could.
Well, fuck, what if it was?
They could totally tie it in. I think that's one thing that's great about it, in that it doesn't feel weighed down by needing to be in a universe, even though it is technically. Well, not the DCU, just DC Comics in general. But it could totally slide into the DCEU with the way that they end it. Of like, I want to see a movie with Batman and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And
hopefully the Batman does good.
To me, if they do a sequel to this movie, or it could be The Batman or a sequel to The Batman, like, that's all I need. Like, Joker doesn't need to be in 45 fucking movies, but if there was just one movie with Batman and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, that's all I need.
Yeah, the interaction that they would have would be like,
so much.
Be interesting.
You don't know what it would be like.
A different dynamic.
Yeah.
So good. And have Todd Phillips direct it, because he did a fucking amazing job.
Because,
so.
Yeah, like, this Joker isn't, like, I don't know, like, he's insane, but he's different insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not...
He's a bit more functional.
Trying to blow up Gotham, like Heath Ledger's Joker, like, just cause chaos, but maybe by the time he and Batman meet, because Batman's still like a little kid, I don't know, maybe you get to see like young Batman, like, who knows, like 20-something-year-old Batman, and like old by that point, like seasoned Joker.
Yeah, it could be some interesting stuff. And then,
I love that.
I mean, also there's the whole thing in the movie of is he the Joker? Like, that's what it is. He goes by the name of Joker, but is he, like, if you wanted to go in the future, is he the clown prince of crime, or is he just a dude who, or is he the inspiration for that down the line?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Such a fascinating movie.
I even liked at the end, like the thing of like he's sitting in that room with the lady that he would get like his medication from or whatever, like the lady would talk to, and he was like laughing or whatever about. He starts like laughing, and he said it was like a joke or something like that. She asked what it was, and he was like, "You wouldn't get it." And then afterward, you see him walking out and like with the bloody footprints, and like he's like running around and shit, like he killed her. Like, I don't know. It's a movie that's so fucking dark, but like incredible.
Yeah,
but not like fake dark, like Batman v Superman. It's
like legitimately fucking.
You see the depths of human depravity in this.
Yeah, like a person at their absolute lowest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's it. I just have 3 quick shout-outs of other movies that almost made my list. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think is pretty well done. It's 3 hours long. It's pretty long. I walked out of that theater, and I was like, that was fucking pointless. That movie, like its overall story was like, really. But the more it was one of those movies that I kept thinking about. And I'm like, okay, I think what they did makes a lot of sense. And of course, Brad Pitt, I feel, is like the best in this movie as his supporting character. Leonardo DiCaprio is of course amazing, but Brad Pitt's character is fucking awesome. But I really like that movie a lot. Shout out to Jumanji: The Next Level for just being a dumb fun time. Really great sequel. And last one, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Sleep.
I didn't see. That's another movie I wanted to fucking see. I didn't see that. God.
That's the other, like the Shining
sequel.
Yeah,
it's got Obi-Wan in it.
Yep. Yeah, Ewan McGregor was great in it, and yeah, I think they did that movie I think it's very well done. A little long, a little slow, but it is.
I didn't see enough horror movies this year. I didn't see Midsummer or that, or Child's Play, even though that probably wasn't all that great. But I kind of wanted to see it. Yeah, well.
All right. Let us know what your favorite movies of 2019 were. Thanks for watching.